Hello students. Previously we have learned about common nouns and proper nouns. In this video we will learn about collective nouns. A collective noun is a noun that refers to a collection of persons, animals or things taken together as one unit or a group. For example, when we see a large group of students, we call it a class of students. The word class stands for a collection of students. When we see a large number of cattle, we call it a herd of cattle. The word herd stands for collection of cattle. When we see many grapes, a collection of grapes, we call it a bunch of grapes. The word bunch stands for a collection of grapes. So now let us see what are the names given to these different groups. Let us start with collective nouns we use for people. Here are some collective nouns that we use for a group of people. A team of players. When we see many players or a group of players, we call it a team of players. A crowd of people. When we see many people at a certain place, for example, a market or a mall or a function like a wedding or any other function, we call it a crowd of people. A band of musicians. When there are many musicians performing at a concert or at a show, we call it a band of musicians. A choir of singers. When there are many singers singing, we call it a choir of singers. An army of soldiers. When we see many soldiers, we call it an army of soldiers. Here are some more collective nouns for groups of people. A gang of thieves. The word gang stands for collection of thieves. A crew of sailors. The word crew stands for a collection of sailors. A group of dancers. When there are many dancers, we call it a group of dancers. A staff of employees. When there are many employees working at a particular place, we call it a staff of employees. A team of athletes. When there are many athletes, we call it a team of athletes. A flock of tourists. When there are many tourists visiting a place, we call it a flock of tourists. A faculty of teachers. The word faculty stands for a collection of teachers. Here are some collective nouns that we use for a group of animals. A flock of birds. When there are many birds, we call it a flock of birds. The word flock stands for a collection of birds. A colony or an army of ants. When there are many ants, we call it a colony or an army of ants. A pride of lions. When we see many lions in the jungle or in the forest, we call it a pride of lions. A school of fish. When we see many fish in the sea or in the river, we call it a school of fish. A pack of dogs. When we see many dogs in the street or at someone's house, we call it a pack of dogs. A swarm of bees. When you see many bees buzzing around, we call it a swarm of bees. A litter of puppies. When there are many puppies, we call it a litter of puppies. Here are some more collective nouns for groups of animals. A gaggle of geese. The word gaggle stands for a collection of geese. A flock of sheep. When we see many sheep, we call it a flock of sheep. A litter of cubs. Cubs are baby lions. When there are many baby lions, when there are many cubs, we call it a litter of cubs. A pack of wolves. When there are many wolves, we call it a pack of wolves. A stud of horses. A collection of horses is called a stud of horses. A brood of chickens. The word brood stands for collection of chickens. A colony of penguins. When we see many penguins, we call it a colony of penguins. Here are some collective nouns that we use for a group of things. A forest of trees. When we see many trees in a jungle or any other place, we call it a forest of trees. A stack of papers. The word stack stands for a collection of papers. A flight of stairs. When there are many stairs, we call it a flight of stairs. A deck or a pack of cards. Many cards together are called a deck or a pack of cards. A pile of books. When there are many books, we call it a pile of books. A collection of stamps. When there are many stamps, we call it a collection of stamps. A bouquet of flowers. A collection of flowers is called a bouquet of flowers. Here are some more collective nouns for groups of things. A block of flats. In a building when there are many flats, we call it a block of flats. A fleet of ships. When there are many ships in the sea, we call it a fleet of ships. A collection of coins. When there are many coins, we call it a collection of coins. A chest of drawers. The word chest stands for a collection of drawers. A basket of fruits. A collection of fruits is called a basket of fruits. A bundle of sticks. The word bundle stands for a collection of sticks. A list of names. When we see many names on the register or on a book, we call it a list of names. An album of photographs. When there are many photographs together, we call it an album of photographs. A pair of shoes. The word pair stands for collection of shoes. A galaxy of stars. When we see many stars in the sky, we call it a galaxy of stars. A range of mountains. When there are many mountains, we call it a range of mountains. A box of crayons. Many crayons in a box is called a box of crayons. Now I have a small exercise. Match the collective nouns with the people, animals or things they stand for. On the left side are collective nouns and on the right side are people, animals or things. So the first one, library. Library is a collective noun for books. So it's a library of books. Bunch. Bunch is a collective noun for keys. So we say bunch of keys. Gang. Gang is a collective noun for a collection of thieves or many thieves. So we say gang of thieves. Heap. Heap is a collective noun for stones. When we see many stones piled up together in one place, we call it a heap of stones. Litter. When there are many kittens, we call it a litter of kittens. Write the collective nouns for the following from the words given in the bracket. The first one I have done for you. Cattle. A collective noun for cattle is herd. I will just read out the remaining. Wolves, lions, soldiers, stones, flowers, sticks, people, stars and dancers. So now from the words given in the bracket, you have to find out the collective noun for each of the following. Fill in the blanks with collective nouns given in the bracket. The words in the bracket are colony, crowd, box, gaggle, gang, herd and pack. First one, my aunt gave me a dash of crayons. Second one, the dash of cows crossed the road. Third one, a dash of ants lived under the log. Fourth one, the farmer kept a dash of geese in the backyard. Fifth one, my younger brother got lost in the dash of people. Sixth one, the dash of dogs chased the kitten under a car. And seventh one, the police is looking for a dash of thieves. Thank you and have a nice day. Stay home, stay safe.